Hi guys, this episode goes specifically to the Chinese voters, and this is the message that I would like to send to the Chinese voters. What's the message? This is the message The message is, dear Chinese voters, please don't let DAP wag the dog. Now, what do I mean by don't let DAP wag the dog? Now, before I proceed to explain what I mean, first I would like to explain what integrity and sincerity means. Now, if you ask me, what is the difference between a person of integrity who is sincerely on your side, who's sincerely on your side and working in your interest, and a person of low integrity or no integrity who's only pretending to be on your side because they need you to believe that they are on your side, so that you will believe that you are on their side, so that you will work for their interest and their benefit. This is my answer. This is what I think the difference is. The difference is this, with a person of integrity, even if there are 99 things that they sincerely cannot do for you, they will still do that one thing that they can do for you. They might not be able to do everything, but one thing, a few things that they can do for you, they will do for you. And while they are doing that one thing for you, or those few things for you, they will also be constantly on the lookout for a way that they will be able to do for you the other 99 things that they for now they can't do. But they'll be thinking, perhaps, maybe I can't do the 99 things in full, but maybe I can do parts of it. Not even if I can't do it fully, maybe I can do parts of it. And maybe they'll be thinking, if I can't do 99 things today, maybe I can set the conditions, do something today that will set the conditions so that I can perhaps do it tomorrow. Now, this is how a person of integrity who sincerely on your side will be thinking and conducting themselves. Now, with a person of low integrity, the exact opposite is true. Even if there are 99 things that they can do for you, they will still find that one thing that they cannot do for you. That one thing is the thing that they will zoom in on. While busying themselves to do that one thing that they from the onset they know it won't be done for you, but while busying themselves to do that one thing that they cannot do for you, they will also make it seem like they are on your side, because they are trying to do something for you, right? So that you will believe that they are they are on your side and will be willing to do something for them later on, maybe vote for them, for example. In other words, when you are dealing with people with not much integrity, you cannot believe anything that they say or do. They can claim until the cows come home how they only want to serve you selflessly, but the only thing that they are probably serving is just themselves. They only need you to believe that they are serving you selflessly without actually intending to do anything for you. They just want you to believe that they are on your side, so that when the time comes, when it's their turn for you to do something for them, you will feel duty bound to do something for them. So this is how it is with people. If this is the difference between integrity. People with integrity and people with no integrity will behave towards people on the same side as them. Now, DAP is currently in a panic mode. The Chinese electorate, as shown in Sabah elections, are ready to abandon them. Anytime they can abandon DAP. Being in panic, DAP is now ready to take action to address its diminishing support from the Chinese electorate. At this time, the Chinese electorate needs to be very careful, because there are two things that DAP can do to address its loss of support. And of the two, one is good not only for the Chinese voter, it's also good for the nation, it's also good for the people. While the other one that it can do is only good for DAP, even if it's bad for the Chinese people, even if it's bad for the country, even if it's bad for the people in general, the citizens in general. Now, the good thing for the country, for the people, that the DAP can do is address its loss of support by using its considerable power. Yeah? It's the largest component party in the unity government. It's got 40 seats. It's the largest component in the unity government. Yeah? It can use that power to categorically execute the sort of reforms that are within its powers to execute. Maybe to free the country from such plagues that we are affected with, like corruption and abuse of power. This is a big problem in our country. We all know this, and DAP can do something to address it. What sort of reforms are we talking about? It is the sort of reforms where, like for example, is where you separate the role of finance minister from that of Prime Minister. If DAP wants to do that, anytime you can do that. Or separate the role of the Attorney General from that of Public Prosecutor. If DAP wants to do that, anytime it can do that also. Or perhaps prevent the interference of the executive in such institutions like the judiciary and MACC. DAP can come up with policies that can do that immediately within the next 6 months. Now, if DAP pushes for this sort of reforms, it will 100% succeed. 100% succeed. Okay, 100% maybe too much. 99%, 90%, 99% success rate definitely will happen. Because not only is it within DAP's power to see to it that these reforms are pushed through, it will likely also secure the support of everyone, even the opposition, even those who oppose DAP. Will likely have no objection to seeing these reforms pushed through, and maybe even support DAP to push through these reforms. And because of that, I'm 100% convinced. If DAP pushes through for this sort of reforms, in the next 6 months, it will happen. Maybe even sooner, but it will happen. However, pushing for reforms that are good for the Chinese voters, for the country and the people is not the only thing that DAP can do to restore the faith that the Chinese electorate has lost in DAP. DAP needs to restore the faith that the Chinese electorate has in it. But doing the good thing is not the only thing that it can do. The other thing it can do, the darker thing, is that instead of pushing for meaningful reform, DAP could just push for an agenda that will change the mindset, change the perception that the Chinese electorate have towards it. If this is what DAP has in mind, then it will likely push to fight categorically for such thing as the recognition of the UEC within the next 6 months, even though the push for UEC recognition is not something that can be achieved in the next 6 months or categorically, and should rightfully be something lower down the list of the things that DAP should be pushing for. It should be lower down the list, because to push for UEC recognition, DAP would first have to enable the conditions for UEC to be recognized, and only then it can push for UEC's recognition. This will require more than 6 months. If DAP is pushing for UEC recognition in the next 6 months, without enabling the condition for UEC to be recognized, it might be the case, it might be the case that rather than do anything meaningful or sincere for the Chinese community, or the country, or the people by extension, DAP might just be trying to change the perception that the Chinese voters have towards it without doing anything meaningful, not only for the Chinese electorate, again for the people in the country either. You see, here's the thing. DAP might actually believe that the problem of why it is losing the support of the Chinese is because the Chinese are not in the right state of mind to support DAP. In the Chinese electorates, the Chinese voters, in DAP's view, currently, they probably think that they have done their part. They have already put DAP on the top. They already put DAP in power. And thus, they are expecting that DAP will use its position, its power, to reward them for supporting them until they went to the top. DAP is losing support because the Chinese voters do not believe that DAP is using its position at the top to get them the rewards that they deserve for putting DAP there. Now, by fighting for UEC recognition, DAP is trying to change the perception that the Chinese electorate have of it. They are trying to make it seem like they are honoring their promise to the Chinese electorate, while at the same time using the UEC issue to reset the Chinese perception, the Chinese mindset of DAP. They want to make the Chinese electorate feel, right now the Chinese electorate are feeling that they have done their job and thus they deserve their rewards. DAP should reward them for supporting, for the Chinese voters, supporting them until they went to the top. Right? They want to change this mindset. Instead, they want the Chinese voters to have this mindset that the job is not finished, and thus they must continue to fight, and not expect any reward just yet. It is this mindset that DAP wants the Chinese voters to have, because it's only if the Chinese voter in this mindset that the job is not finished, they must continue to back DAP because the fight is not over, right? So let's not talk about reward yet, right? They want the Chinese voter to have this mindset, because it's only if the Chinese voters have this mindset that they will feel, they will not feel that DAP is subservient and self-serving. Instead, they will feel that DAP is actually a hero and a fighter for the Chinese voters lah. Now, the Chinese voters needs to be careful, because if DAP chooses this, I call this the dark path, if they choose this dark path, what they are basically going to do is they're going to wag the dog. The Chinese voters are supposed to be the one that is making DAP do what they want. The DAP is the tool for the Chinese community. Okay, Malaysian community, but let's say Chinese community especially, But if DAP gets its way, it's going to wag the dog. It's DAP that is going to make the Chinese voter do what is good for DAP. Now, what I mean by this, that instead of serving the Chinese voters, the country, the people, what DAP is going to use is it's going to use the Chinese voters to serve itself, even at the cost of the people, even at the cost of the country, by choosing to not do the 99 things that can be done for the Chinese electorate, for the nation, for the people, but choosing instead to focus on just that one thing, UEC, which likely cannot be acted upon until the conditions for it to be acted upon is first acted upon. It's going to fan racial tension, although nothing meaningful will come out fit for not only for the Chinese electorate, for the people of the country as well. The only one that is going to benefit from it is basically DAP, for it will come out looking like it's a champion for the Chinese voters without actually achieving anything for them. The Chinese electorate are likely the only one that can prevent this from happening. Now, this is what I think the Chinese, this is my message to the Chinese voters. Now, this is what you should do if DAP is choosing to go on this dark path, which means it's not going to do anything worthwhile for the community. Instead, it's just going to fight a battle that is going to change the perception of the Chinese voters mindset, without actually doing anything meaningful for the Chinese voters or the nation. Is that if DAP chooses this path, the Chinese voters must resist its attempt and instead force it to follow the right path. The right path is use its power to do what is possible and beneficial. What is possible and beneficial is like the reforms that are possible and beneficial, like the one that I mentioned earlier, like separating the role of the PM from the FM, or reforming MACC. If the Chinese electorate resist these dark attempts and force DAP to do the right thing, then the path forward for the recognition of UEC will, I do believe that it will gradually open up and it will happen. First, you have to set the condition, and this UEC recognition, after you set the condition, even if it doesn't happen categorically and immediately, then conditionally, phase by phase, over a long run, I think it's going to happen. I think UEC recognition is not something that you aim for categorically. It's something that is going to occur phase by phase over the long run. But if the Chinese electorate falls for DAP's trick and let the tail wag the dog, then all that will happen is that ill will, resentment, bitterness will afflict the races in the country, without anybody gaining anything. The only one that is going to gain something is gonna be DAP lah. DAP is gonna emerge as a champion. It's gonna secure the Chinese votes towards its fold, but the rest of us are not gonna gain anything. We're actually just gonna be bitter and resentful and filled with anger, ill will, and frustration. And not only one race, probably all the races in the country are going to be affected by it. So DAP is currently in a knife-like state. Yeah? So in the right hands, it is a invaluable tool that can achieve a lot of things for those who wield it, especially the Chinese community, because DAP is a tool that the Chinese community wield. Yeah? But in the wrong hands, it will even kill the one who wields it. So I really think sometimes the knife, some people believe that the knife got spirit. The spirit of the knife take possession of the wielder, then all is lost. So it's really up to the wielder, who in case it's not clear, is the Chinese electorate. It's really in the hands of the wielder of DAP to not let DAP possess you. You must control DAP and make sure that that it's you, the Chinese electorate, that you are the one that is wagging DAP according to what you want it to do, and not let DAP wag you according to its wishes. This is what you have to do. This is my message for you. I hope you get this message. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. See you again in the next episode. Bye bye.